This is my list of the 10 worst female behaviors, the best examples of toxic femininity, that is, toxic behavior that is specific to women. Both men and women, all humans really, are capable of horrible behavior, being selfish, manipulative, abusive, but some of these behaviors are consistently done by women, and they relate specifically to her innate femininity, her womanhood, which is why we call it toxic femininity rather than simply toxic humanity. So let's go through the list. 10 examples of toxic femininity. Number 1, gold digging. Some women do not see men as human beings with hopes, dreams, emotions of their own, as somebody worthy of respect and deserving of compassion and connection. Some women view men only as resources to be exploited, and they'll lie to men, manipulate them into thinking that they are loved and in a real relationship, but it's all for the purpose of extracting resources for them. Sometimes it's just about enjoying his money while they're in the relationship. Sometimes it's about forcing a marriage without a prenuptial agreement so that they can get a big payout from the divorce. And sometimes it's marrying some rich old dude and having affairs while you wait for him to die. Whatever the circumstances, when a woman's primary motivation for being with a man is his resources, not him himself, it's gold digging and it's toxic femininity. Number 2, perpetual victimhood. If a woman sees the world through perpetual victimhood, where no matter the individual circumstances, she is always the wronged party, that is toxic femininity. It stems from an inability to take responsibility for your own actions and a refusal to accept the consequences of the actions that you've taken. It's enabled by a culture that continues to infantilize women because it falsely believes that it is sexist to treat women as adults. If a woman blames everyone else all the time, she's never in the wrong, then that is toxic femininity. Number 3, status shaming. Women are hypergamous. Evolution has given them the instincts to be attracted to high-value men. The purpose, of course, is to mate with them and have healthy, strong, well-provided-for children. That's not a problem. Women can chase top-tier men. That's absolutely fine. But if a woman status shames low-value men, that is toxic femininity. The issue comes when she accepts certain behaviors from some men while condemning it from others. For example, if she thinks it's absolutely fine for Leonardo DiCaprio to change girlfriends every 6 months and to only date 21-year-olds, but she judges a low-value man who's trying to do the same thing to be a creep, that is toxic femininity. It is the inconsistency, the holding of double standards for men, that's the problem. She dehumanizes men who she has subjectively judged to be beneath her standards. Now, obviously, she doesn't need to be attracted to them. She can't be attracted to every man. But so long as the low-value man is treating her with respect and dignity, she should respond the same way. Status shaming is toxic femininity at work. Number 4, child ownership. This one's truly disgusting. When women have a motherhood entitlement, believing that as mothers, their children belong to them, and they view fathers merely in the role of sperm donors, that's toxic femininity. So when it comes to parenting decisions, they don't consult with father, and if they ever get divorced, they just automatically assume they should have full custody of the children, and any visitation rights the dad has is simply her doing him a favor. That kind of thinking is absolute toxic femininity. Number 5, sexual shaming. Women who take pleasure in making fun of their boyfriend's sexuality is toxic femininity. Male sexuality is just as beautiful and magnificent as female sexuality, and it's sexist to act otherwise. If a man opens up to his girlfriend about a fantasy or a kink that he has, and she calls him a creep or a pervert, that's toxic femininity. If he wants to have sex more often than she does, and she calls him a sex-obsessed animal, if she makes fun of his dick size or how long he lasts in bed, all of that stuff, that's toxic femininity. Number 6, fluid feminism. This one refers to women who have such a fluid definition of feminism that they consider every choice that they want to make to be an expression of feminist empowerment, and any criticism of their decisions to automatically be sexist and patriarchal. So if she wants to criticize men for objectifying women, she's a feminist. If she then wants to start an OnlyFans so she can make money from that objectification, she's still a feminist. If she wants special treatment in the workplace because she's a woman, she's a feminist. If she then gets upset that people aren't treating her like everyone else, she's a feminist. If you want to be a homemaker or a businesswoman or a pop star, half naked on stage selling your your music, and to you that's feminism, that's absolutely fine. But you have to be consistent. Just because it's a woman doing it doesn't automatically make what you're doing feminism. You can't constantly change the definition to suit you. There are real issues affecting women, and feminism is necessary, but you dilute the meaning of that word when you use it to just camouflage yourself, from criticism, from your own personal choices, and you alienate men from taking the movement seriously. Number 7, false accusations. Men have a strong instinct to protect women. That's what masculinity does. We feel responsible for the safety of the women in our lives, and we take that role seriously. Women don't understand how shameful it is as a man to be accused of hurting women, of hitting them, of sexually assaulting them, with getting involved with underage girls. These are serious, really serious accusations with massive consequences to a man's reputation. Now, if the man's guilty and you speak out against that, bravo, 100% support. I hope he faces full justice. But if you're lying and you're destroying a man's life because your feelings got hurt and so you're making up accusations, shame on you. That's disgusting. That kind of toxic femininity should be a crime. Number 8, branch swinging. Sometimes relationships don't work. A woman was dating a man that she was attracted to, but now she's no longer interested in him. That's fine. Break up. All good. What isn't okay is for you to stay in the relationship while you look for a replacement. Lying and manipulating a man, enjoying his resources, his emotional support, while you plan your exit, trying to find some other man, that's truly toxic feminine behavior. Number 9, preference shaming. So many women are total hypocrites on this particular issue. Women who call themselves like champions of gay rights. You can't control who you love, who you're attracted to. That's a sacred part of your identity. And God help you if you ever criticize a woman's dating preferences. If she wants to date a bodybuilder or, tall black men exclusively or only millionaires and celebrities, that's their choice and it's none of your business. Yet, none of this acceptance and tolerance ever finds its way to men who are labeled as creeps and perverts for having any preference that is not her, essentially. The man says that he wants to date Asian women. Oh, racist. A man says he wants to date a traditional Christian woman. Oh, he's sexist and controlling. A man wants to date young women. Total creep and pervert. He wants to date a woman who hasn't slept with lots of guys. He's jealous, he's insecure, he's controlling. That use of shame to try and control men, to make them feel like there's something wrong with their dating preferences, is another toxic feminine behavior. Number 10, shaming male emotions. So many women spout off on how pathetic men are for not being in touch with their emotions, not being able to share them the way that women do. Yet when they're actually confronted with a genuine display of male emotions, they immediately shame them. Like if a man expresses anger, which by the way is a totally legitimate emotion, he's a toxic man. How dare you scare women with your male anger? Shame on you. If a man expresses sadness and he starts to cry, God, how weak and pathetic are you? Man up. This one is especially dark because I think it reveals how so many women don't actually view men as deserving of the recognition as a fellow human being. They're simply a tool to make their lives as women better. To acknowledge that a man is not a robot, he actually has his own feelings, his own desires, and God forbid he might expect some help from you, some compassion. He might want your assistance. That's unacceptable. Not from a man. I won't tolerate it. He needs to be shamed. He needs to be punished until he's back inside his box. Shaming of male emotions is a truly awful behavior. If you've dealt with this, you have my compassion.